Hello there. Welcome back to the Timmy's Bush stream. Happy Sunday indeed. Good to see you, Jackson. Hope everyone is having a nice weekend for themselves. Doing the activities that you enjoy, whether that is relaxing, hanging out with the people you love and adore, or spending time for yourself. Now, I finally finished the Archon quest after stalling for so long yesterday. We managed to do one act of the Archon quest over 2 streams, and then the other act over another 2 streams. There were a lot of other things happening because Abyss was resetting and Station Onslaught was also resetting. So we had quite a bit of content to do on stream. Though as I finally finished the Archon quest, Act 1 and 2 of nod-krai Archon quest, it was epic. It was amazing. It feels like a product of love from the developer rather than a half-assed kind of product. What now? What now indeed? After we done the Archon quest, what shall we do? We shall discuss about it. And I've been saving quite a few videos regarding the lore of Genshin from the people that are more expert about lore than I am to watch together. Let's see if there's any details that we're missing, any of the readable stuff that I just skip. And I assume there are quite a bit of some just random world quests that I do not have the chance to do and read thoroughly, so those videos will help, I believe. You're considering giving Scalpers money for the Alhaitham Cave collab. This is almost 100 euros. Scalpers, what is Scalpers? Is that some kind of organization? Person who resells shares tickets at a large for quick profit. Being a large skipper, you're helpless? Well, the thing is, this is exactly what Lord Skipper needs. I read some stuff, I listen to some stuff, but not always. So I do find this helpful.
This land holds nothing but promise for adventure.
That sure be sauce indeed. Chad, it feels like yesterday that Sandrone was just greeting us. Be sauce. Welcome to nod-krai. Domain of the Fatui. Something like that. They flip it for profit. Scalpers inflate the price of the original product. They flip it for profit. I see. Alhaitham and Cave collab. Alhaitham Cave collab. Oh, that's the KFC thing that happened a bit ago. I see. What was the product from that? Was that some merch? I'm taking a look. Is that some kind of... Oh, maybe these? I don't know what these are called. Like this, the thing that stands up on your desk. Is a name card and a limited pet. Ah, I see. Is that in game or is that out of game? I don't think we will be able to trade that in game
For adventurers from all walks of
if we have not been able to get it during the thing. But perhaps there are ways. Acrylic stands. I see. Got it. And go ahead and farm a little bit. Those. And you've been waiting since the funeral Signora for Sandrone to become playable. Everyone seems to know that. I think Colombina, Sandrone, and maybe it's not exactly related. It's just because Signora funeral includes the Winter Night Lasso, so people are knowing about the Harbinger. I think someone said that Colombina is a good friend with Signora, and apparently Colombina is also friends with Sandrone.
Light it up! Final warning! Faster and stronger! Start them! Light up the blazing sun! Moving.
I wonder how they would interact with Raiden later on. I hope there's some kind of event where they would be interacting with each other.
Evil looks. Shoot on sight. Rev the engine!
I don't think any of the Harbinger has said anything about,
Quick as a flash! On my mark! Pyroclastic surge!
has talked to Raiden extensively about Signora death yet. Tataglia doesn't seem to care. Wanderer doesn't seem to care. Regrator and Sandrone are your favorite Harbinger design. Regrator? That is a name I don't hear very often. Oh, Pantaloni. Got it. Why do all of these Harbinger have two names? Is one of that real name and one of that title?
It's a battle of wills, and the sword an extension of the.
Or both of them are titles?
If your heart recoils in fear,
I know there's Chide, Tartaglia, and Ajax, but maybe Ajax is a name for Tartaglia when he was younger and he changed his name or something.
Final warning! Control breathing! Let's move! Light up the blazing sun!
into the shadows.
Regrator is an incognito codename, I see. Hope they are introducing the other Harbingers soon. So which one have we not seen yet? I'm gonna take a look at the list because I cannot remember every one of them. Genshin Harbinger. We have not met Piro yet, but he appears in quite a bit of promotional material. Captain, Dottore met, Colomina met, Alekino met, Pusinella we have not met yet. And there is quite little we know about him. Sandrone met, Skirmush met, Signora met, Pantaloni not, Tartaglia yes. Wait, what? Oh, the previous knave, right.
In my role as champion duelist, my opinions do not.
I was like, oh, who is this pretty lady? Oh, right, she's dead.
I am but an instrument of Fontaine's law.
We do not know number 10, huh? Okay. Which is number 10, yeah. The code names are Italian references, I see. Yeah, I believe they are from some kind of old time play from Italy or from somewhere. And the people who knows the plays are generally having an idea of what the harbingers are like. Likely to be. I wonder if Harbinger number 10 has any plot significance.
Drop your weapons.
That they are not showing up just yet.
Wrath from the sky. Try and stop. Moving.
Alright, it's immune.
Time to testify. Light of the blazing sun.
Very cool. It's level... We never up. I'm almost at level 88, which is the place that I usually stop leveling my character. So probably tomorrow and I'll be having enough material for her to be at level 88. Should I level this up to 9? Her damage here does not matter a lot. It does not matter a lot. And I don't need the defensive utility specifically, so I think I just stop there. Can level this weapon to 90. Why not now, actually? That seems fine. Holy Mora loss. You got around and started building Dory. Her talents feels like such a waste Mora-wise. You could level up her burst, and that at least does something. It heals, does her energy refund scale with her burst level or not? I have to double check. It doesn't show here. Punch. Characters 4-star. Electro. Dory. Oh yeah, the energy regen does scale up with level. So that's something. Hello Piv. Good to see you in the stream. I'm bringing some wholesome energy to chat. That's you, Piv. How the cat's doing? You hope so. Oh, you do. Happy weekend to the people. Okay, I believe that's all the farming that I can do right now. They're well, you got them tube treats and lady has been ravenous over them.
Thank you for
Tube treats. I was a cat owner
This land holds nothing but promise for adventure.
something like 15 years ago. My family used to have several pets, both cats and dogs. But then when I'm growing up, because my family moved quite a bit, and I guess we had to bury a few of them just due to old age. So I think my family prefer not to continue dealing with the emotional baggage of having to bury a beloved pet, so they are not bringing in pet anymore. It's fine, it's everyone's decision, but for that I don't really own any pet. It's usually nice to go to a friend's house and playing with their pet though, and I enjoy looking at pet videos on YouTube. But if you ask me about how to actually take care of a pet or what to treat them with, how to give them treat, I have no idea. Yeah, it can be hard to deal with the short lifespan. Yeah. I can. My family. This is one that I remember really well. My family used to have a dog that's actually older than me. So you think she died when I was around don't even know. I cannot remember the exact year, but somewhere when I was 10 or so, I think. And by that age, I don't think I fully comprehend why we don't really have a dog anymore. But gradually, I understand more of that. It's fine, just it's more like the fond memories to remember of the old times of my old house and when my parents were also younger as well. We don't have to dwell on the bad stuff, and we can always rejoice that the good things happened. You had the same experience with your childhood dog? Your cats are 12 and 13, so you gotta get prepared. Nostalgia core, yeah. Nostalgia core indeed. Alright, I believe I have finished farming for this account, so let's move on to my main. And then as soon as I'm done with memeing around, well, that's gonna be even more memeing around. We'll be watching and reacting to a few of the lore videos on the Archon quest. People doing deep dive into what everything means, dive on the sinner topic and all that. I'm just gonna kick back, relax, and watch some videos with y'all. What is it? Seems particularly long to load today. There we go. If you have done the Archon quest, the new one, what is your impression on that? I think the new one is really well done. There's quite a bit of love and attention to detail poured into that. Compared to the nod-krai Archon quest, the Natlan one seems like a unpolished project. Like the important beats of the Natlan Archon quest are there, but seems like the Natlan Archon quest could marinate a little bit more, have a little bit more proofreading, and the animation could
neither rain nor shine. Their sole purpose is for decoration
improve a bit.
on the wall.
But when it comes to nod-krai Archon quest, which is the newest one, I have very little points where I have to complain that it's not up to standard. Some even exceeds it. Excited for that, the Archon quest was so good. Yeah, I have the same sentiment. Okay, got a plan now what I'm farming a little bit. Next week they are also doing double drop for artifact domain, which is quite considerate of them, seeing that the new domain has just dropped and we would like to farm some artifacts. Okay, other than that, I think I am trying to level up a few Favonius weapons. So let's work on that. I need this material. And this material. Got it. Trying to level up a lot of Favonius weapons lately. So, because theater is a game mode that is quite important these days, and it requires a lot of characters. I would like to just equip more of my characters with functional weapons at the minimum. So I'm leveling up some Fowls. I could re-gear people every time I enter theater, but that is a bit tedious. Really liked it. The pacing felt nice and you genuinely got invested and curious to what's going on. A sinner appearing is epic. I really like how many of the new characters were actually present, like involved. I absolutely agree. The characters feel important. Their presence matter and their voice, their actions affect the story. And they feel like three-dimensional characters rather than just a character with just one single gimmick. And that's it. I really like how Act 1 is kind of like a Lauma story quest and Act 2 is kind of like a Flint's story quest. They're doing that and also achieving moving the plot along as well.
Stop right there! Justice will prevail! Faster! Stronger!
Pay your dues.
Pyroclastic surge!
Oh, I did not turn to fragile. That's fine. Exactly, you feel the same way? Yeah. Oh, that's nice. It's good energy. Hi Dinap, welcome back to stream. We're gonna do a deep dive into plot stuff today after being done with the Archon quest. And also looking at some lore videos that I've been seeing popping up on YouTube, but been skipping because I want to do the quest first. Rip, how so?
Hurry up, Grassa! Drop your weapons! You asked for it! Let's move!
Pay your dues.
Big brains! Hello Gary, welcome back to stream. No, you have big brain. No, you! Alright, that may actually be enough material. Hello Blood Fallen! Good to see you again. How was your week been? How has your week been? Okay, see if I can craft to have enough material. Oh, I definitely can. Nice. You were away for a long time? Don't worry about that. We always have in real life stuff to take care of. And our priorities change from time to time. It's nice to have you here today, hanging out. Hopefully, Bloodflower, you are in for some lore deep dive. Because I've just finished with the Archon quest yesterday, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people what their opinion on it. Oh wait, I have the Hydrocluse now. Okay, cool. What I'm doing is leveling up the weapon. Nice. I'm just gonna level it up to 85 to save a little bit of materials. Especially when I am so low on it. Farming for Favonius, yes. Yeah, with the prevalence of both Stage and Onslaught, and even more importantly, Theater, I want some weapon options that are just flexible to gear for everyone. Okay, that Fav is good to go. Let's level up this Fav. Okay, from here. Ooh, okay. Yeah, farm more. Jet Spear? I do have a Jet Spear, yeah. I do not have a candidate to hold a Jet Spear as of right now. I could level it up with Raiden. But Raiden is also not a character that's too relevant these days, so I'm procrastinating on that a bit. Kind of busy with works nowadays, got more side works this week. Oh. Side work? Is that... I'm just gonna assume and tell me if I'm right. Is that like construction related? Is that the nature of your work? Going here and there for the entire week? You'll find now. How should I? Oh, I guess it could also be some consulting and you got to go to... Would people call that side?
Stop right there! Justice will prevent... Quick as a flash! Start them! Trap from the sky!
Flint's second best is Jet Spear, third best. It's pretty close. I believe it's something like Staff of Scarlet Sun, which is silent weapon, and then Hu Tao's weapon, Homa, and then Jet Spear. All of them are really close though. All those three are within 1% of each other. I don't want to do that. Use it. Work on logistic department. I see. Gotcha. For a 5 book, I'm okay with just leveling it up to 80. Raiden EM is better with Llama these days. True. True. Very true. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna start strongboxing for an EM artifact set for Raiden that's separate from Cookie Shinobu, so that I don't have to re-gear them from time to time. Who am I leveling up? No, he does weapon that she's currently holding. There we go. Alright, I'm good with that. I'm good, I'm happy with these 5 weapons. Some of the 5 weapons I'm just leaving at level 70 because they still gives plenty of energy recharge like this. The 5 book, gives a little bit less energy recharge, so I have to level it up more. And Fowls is the one that gives the least amount of energy, so I have to level it up the highest. Alright, I'm good with that. So it was the product's delivery in different area, which is kind of close to your place. I see. Thanks for sharing. I guess going from place to place can take quite a bit of time. Boss assigned you to work on it? Yeah. You're a barista? Nice. You must be really good at making coffee. Pardon my assumption. Can you draw the coffee flower? Or I don't know what they're calling that. The flower that you make with cream.
Look out below!
When is Skirk coming back? We do not have any either official information or any leak information regarding that yet. My prediction is 6.3 or Lunar 4. Those are the same patch. This is currently 6.0 and Lunar 1. That seems like a reasonable waiting time for Hoyoverse when they decide to rerun.
Thank you for...
50. Oh, this. What's Nefer's material again? She wants the... Jeez. She's gonna make sure. Philosophy of Elysium. Vagrancy Elysium. There we go. Yes, so you can. Nice. I always respect people who can do those little artsy things. Doesn't always have to be just like coffee, flower stuff. Little hobbies, artsy hobbies they do on the side. Oh wait, I have not done this yet. Okay, it's time to do that, chat. No reason not to do this. It's just, you know, or the music feels loud. Oh, I could lower it. But yeah, we are playing music game now. Hold on. I need to play 4 more songs for that amount of primo. Elysium, gotcha.
Love shining bright in the deep night. Stand up to find many times.
Why not? I need to play 4 more songs. Oh. Hold on. Why does this feel hard all of a sudden? Hold on. Am I just rusty? Why does this feel hard? Let me change a little bit of settings here. There is a speed for these things, right? Yeah. Let's try that. I'm not sure which one's better. Alright, try this. You cannot play this rhythm game on PC, it's so confusing if you hit notes with keyboard. Yeah, mostly because our hands are not covering the notes, which is a perk when we play on phone. Oh boy. Yeah, no, it doesn't help. It's my skill issue. The interface doesn't change, doesn't help at all. Stop copying, Jimmy. Like a hardest difficulty on Muse. Dash instead. Is the music volume a little bit low for you all? Oh, it's fine. Oh, almost got perfect that one. It's fine? Okay. Well, it's over 90. Alright. One done, 3 more to go. I got this. I must be good on Osu? Os? I do not play that. I think Os is more often than not just unnecessarily hard. And it's mostly require using a mouse alongside the keyboard. I guess I just never got into it. When I play a rhythm game, I want it to be reasonably challenging, but not too challenging. I also want to enjoy the music and just chilling. Generally, I find the default hardest difficulty that Genshin officially makes for these songs, those are just right for me. As in, I could potentially try hard and once in a while get a perfect clear, but most of the time I'm content with just missing a few and I'm consistently getting 90%. Those cascading notes feels good. Hello Deb, welcome back to stream. Community maps on Genshin are evil. Yeah, they are. They indeed are. Now, I would say there are definitely people who enjoys a much harder difficulty and they could find fun there. Similar to how I think most of all songs, the maps are created by the community.
Shine steadfast, a beacon true to come over until the end of the
Scott song. I think I'm one of the few people that is actually excited for the new user-generated content game mode in Genshin. The first thing I'm gonna want to make when we can make those instead of just playing, I think at first the Genshin is just gonna release some games that pre-made just to help us, just to show what I feel of what are the possibilities in there. But probably 1 or 2 patches after we can start making our own games. And one of the first thing I want to make is some kind of racing Saurian games. I've been hosting a few of them in the past on stream. And I want to get some of the tracks down. Hopefully that can gain some traction. Holy, okay, hold on. Can I see your flames? Absolutely. Yeah, chat, when I'm playing this game mode, I cannot really look at what you guys are saying. Oh, hold on. Let it finish. If I click out of the game, it immediately goes into pause mode. There we go. Now I can click out. Anchor network. I think there is one more song to go. Pre-JW. Yeah, the energy recharge is definitely healthy and enough for him to consistently do his rotations. This is a nice 1 to 2 crit rate to crit damage ratio, quite close to it. 8160 would be the best. 85, maybe something 170. That's close enough. Generally, I would just say, yeah, the artifacts farming is good enough to put a hold on that for a bit and go back to leveling up his burst talent and his weapon to 90. Level himself to 90 as well. It's actually relevant for his damage. Going from level 80, so 80 but ascended, so 80 over 90 to 90 is 7% increase in his damage. And that can be an extra 3 artifacts, substats. 3 to 4 artifact substats. Checking your build, you change it with my last suggestion. Okay, absolutely. Can you put your UID again, just so I don't have to look it up? Ananta News, you need anime Spider-Man GTA. Ananta News. They have released a few new trailers at least. They've released a few new trailers, which shows that the project is still alive. It's nice, good to know. I was a little bit skeptical about them because they only have that one trailer from so long ago, but it seems they are still going strong. Oh, this is bugged. You cannot get enough ER in Flint's rotation. You are not supposed to use the big burst. You are only supposed to use a mini burst for Flint's. 2 of them, to be exact. Yeah, this is nice. This is nice. If you want to hyper optimize it, and depending on whether your teammate is holding 5 or not, or Flint's teammate is holding 5 or not, he can probably go down to 130, but this is comfy. Nice amount of crit. That is 100% crit rate right there. That's really nice. Yep, nice. Flint's, I believe he actually prefers a crit substats quite a bit more than an attack percent substat or an EM substat, so we should focus on crit for him after we have met his ER requirement. This is a good build. $75 PD. Oh, 70 PD. On Tuesday it will hit 75. Nice. You hope someone regrets Wind Trace. Alright, I'm swimming back in the comments a little bit since I'm missing some of them. Wind Trace is nice, yes. How do you get good such artifacts already? There is that next week they are gonna give us double artifacts. Alright, chat. Hold on. So we have a chance to get a few better artifacts. Lock in next week, chat. Double drop artifact next week. Your artifacts are level 16, not have XP. Oh, I see. So that's why some of the stats seems a bit low. That makes sense. Retry. Alright, I'm gonna lock in for 2 minutes, chat. See you on the other side of the song. I'll still read your comments later. Those cascading notes are feeling real nice. It actually feels like I'm playing a Chinese instrument. Oh man. Chat, don't burn the house down when I'm away, chat. I better not see the place burning down after I got some pizza like that gift. Yeah, you see that? Me pressing sound effect in between the song. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Woo. Hello again, chat. See you later. Hello. Take your llama too. Sure. What's your UID again, Blood Fallen? Ari sharing UID for you, Deb, so not for me, I assume. Not for me. 60, Primo. Locking in for 2 minutes, pressing sound effect. Wait, hold on. What if I play... What if I play the music game on my soundboard? Hold on, chat. I could do this. Probably need some setting ups. But baby. You managed to clear Fearless for Chewie using Gene for unofficial Innefer somehow. That's really cool. Being able to use Gene. Did you try to perma-stun the guy so he does not go into shield phase? That's really cool. Please use extremely long sound effect for that. Maximum brain rot. Yeah, that would be real fun. So I have one of the things that's called a stream deck. I have the small version. It's basically sitting in front of me and I can press some of these buttons for it to make a sound effect. It's kind of like a shortcut that I can change settings on. I can set a certain button to do a certain thing, and I think I could set a certain button to just emulate the keys on the keyboard. So I can press my fingers on here and it will play, and then I could potentially also put some sound effects into some of those buttons. Tier brute force spamming E and Q. Damn. I guess. Wait, if that is the case, it doesn't seem like Gene is providing too much other than healing for Farina, but you could potentially use a different on-fielder and just swap in Gene from time to time to debuff enemies with Iridescent Veneer. Perhaps you don't have any other electro DPS, which is understandable. Your gym buddy sold you the largest stream deck and some Elgato lights. What? Just randomly selling some Elgato key light or stream deck? No. I'm thinking of getting a bigger stream deck so that I can put more sound effects on one of this page and not have to flip between the pages. Alright, enough stalling, chat. Let's take a look at some videos. Here, this is for your benefit if you're not here on stream yesterday. This is peak cinema. Alright, we're gonna get into spoiler territory, guys. Do you want your opinion on your build on Molani on your free to play? Okay, let's take a look at that before this. Hey Doc, welcome back. You need help with this very specific Molani issue. What is the Molani issue? Oh. I would say that using a HP circlet when using another HP weapon is slightly sus, but I would need to punch in the numbers to see how sus that is. Generally, people only switch to an HP circlet when they're using her signature weapon, because signature weapon already gives an abundance of crit damage. I expect this. The substats are really good though. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 26 subs, 27 subs, 31 subs. I suspect this is probably a top 5% build or top 8% build, something like that. It can definitely be improved. And make sure that you level her skill, which is how she does damage, the majority of her damage, to 9 or 10. I would look for a crit damage circlet. I'm gonna scream when I see your crit rate. Alright, sure. Look at Discord. Hold on. Ah, YouTube featured. Nice. Nice. Working on it at the moment, just not sure about the circlet. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. This is a 100% crit rate. Oh, you know what? I actually remember. I guess you can immediately fix it with using the whiff set because it's a crit damage weapon. Though it introduced the problem of fishing for the right buff on whiff set. And generally, I do not recommend it for everyone because Molani is already janky by herself without the introduction of whiff set. If whiff set is only R1, I will actually recommend you to use the craftable weapon at R5. It's not easy, but it's very possible to get the craftable weapon at R5, and on average, it's better than whiff set. Other than that, this is quite a nice build. 22 crit subs, EM subs, that's nice. Now, this total amount of EM is a little bit low. I hope you have an EM buffer in your team, most likely Sucrose or Nahida, if you're going the burning route. Otherwise, you may need to find a bit more EM. Get to at least 200, even higher. Got 0 copies? I see. Perfect crit rate, yeah. Saving 179 wishes for Nefer, you cannot hold it together no more. It's okay, she's almost here. By the end of next week, we will have a live stream with information on Nefer banner, which is gonna be official. Though now, speculation from leaks are that Nefer will come back with a rerun of Alekino 49s only. We don't know in which order just yet. Alright, let's take a look at this. Chat. This is peak anime fighting right here. Let me preface this by saying that this is the greatest fight of all time.
So my envy is a calling. It is the sole hope for humanity because it is what has driven me to annihilating you. What a... So my envy
Witness
is a
peak.
calling. It is the sole hope for humanity because it is what has driven me to annihilating you. 1A! 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 1A!
Colin!
Better expression.
What did you do that for? I studied his abilities inside out. Equipped Polonia
This is 100% accurate. Oh, what's happening to my YouTube now?
with comprehensive countermeasures. We were going to
To the quest, so yeah. Yeah,
But he still got
100%.
through, did he not?
What? You expect a battle to be completely one-sided? I just didn't expect him to have no sense of honor whatsoever. Polonia would have been fine in a head-on clash. But battles just get chaotic.
Oh, so you actually thought you could win. Have you been taking care of yourself lately? Your calculations seem to have deviated quite seriously. Perhaps you could try sleeping
Rich baby.
earlier. Or you could adopt my previous recommendation and...
Hey, listen here, Columbina. I tolerated your nonsense previously because
Why
we
is
were
climb on the rope?
There's a Fatui warrant. out in your
She's
head.
too tired to
Don't
fly.
Forget that. Don't make me fight you right here and now.
Oh, I was just a little concerned about you, that's all. Just like that time when you weren't making any progress with your research. So you went and cooped yourself up all alone.
Love how nonchalantly smuggle a bit all the time talking Sandro.
Never drag me out to one of your freaky hobbles again. Come on, Polonia. We're leaving.
She's rage baiting and she knows it.
When I came to Notre Dame, I wanted to be a part of something more.
Alright. Say any more. Any more of those where that come from? Hold on. I'm seeing some sus thumbnails. Big Hero 6 are fighting. Do you know the 1A reference, chat? Have you seen that movie? The movie was peak, by the way. Hold on. Let me see my watch later list. Y'all allow me, please? Okay. Where is your UID again? Dang it. I cannot really see your UID. I'm trying to scroll up, but maybe I'm missing things. Just paste it again. It will be so much easier for me. Okay, biggest question of nod-krai Archon quest. That's something that's law related. Also Ananda stuff. Cool. We can take a look at that. We are just full of reacting today. Let's go. Lunar 1 law analysis and theories. Alright, I have to check something. Yeah, that's kind of smaller.
Nod-krai was created to bridge the...
Okay, there we go. Check out your novelette build. Sure. Did you put your UID in chat? Lauma. EM, get an EM. You'll be good. Build her like how you build in the heater. Get EM. That's it. Make sure you have enough energy recharge. You know what? This is a really good sense in terms of energy recharge. No, maybe. And you could also just get an ER sans and call it a day too. ER, EM, call it a day. That's fine. Talent, level 10, level 10. That's very nice. Yeah. This is a good llama. It was a Molani one. I close the tab. Chat. Okay, hold on. Nice. Nice. This is a valid use for an HP circlet. When crit damage is already a lot like this, this is a signature weapon. Nice. Very nice. Make sure to use either an EM buffer for her or get a little bit more EM on her. More EM please. Talent priority is nice. He mostly care about his charge attack talent. I would likely swap this for a crit red circlet, maybe. Crit red circlet would make this overcap. It's hard. Find more crit red substats. Decent amount of ER that's comfortable to play. Yeah, it's nice. Nice novelette. Discord, please. What's up with Discord?
少女手持月亮已经过时了，今天给大家表演一个少女手持火器。
Nice. This is Ananda gameplay video.
That's him! That's our target! Huh. You jokers again? This time you're not getting away! Don't you guys have anything better to do? Everyone dogpile! Let's show him the black metal!
This MC is looking quite like the MC of Wuthering Waves. I guess they're just adding some Spider-Man stuff in here.
I'll pound you into the pavement!
And that would be a competition to Nevertheless to Everness, yes. They seem to be doing the same niche.
There a problem with that?
Can't you just book a stadium like everyone else?
A dinky stadium!
Oh, that's a nice counter for both. Just kick it up.
Okay.
A nice counter for both of the attacks. I kind of forget what Neverness to Everness combat feels like. Or maybe we've not even seen that at all. So I think the gameplay will feel a little bit different because this is more focusing on kind of Spider-Man feel. Hi, Kitchik. For you guys will not get outmatched. I have no thought about that.
Buckle up.
They can, they may not.
You guys seem to be having a good time. Was it exciting enough for you before? Looking for an encore?
Not with music that cringe.
I don't think I can say anything before I see the game. If the game's good, then Hoyo can be outmatched. If the game's not good, then Hoyo will not be outmatched. It's that simple.
No need to get jumpy.
Watch out! What's with the hot pursuit?
Yeah, that's a head concussion right there.
Hold on tight.
How can she see that? How can she see the road?
Darn, these guys are persistent.
I guess this is one of the beginning quests of the game. It will make sense.
Get closer. I got
because the characters doesn't seem to know each other yet. It will make sense that they have a beginning quest ready. Car game.
Right on target.
They are advertising this as anime GTA.
Looks like their license is getting revoked.
They've really got their hooks in us. Aim for the tires. Help them deflate.
How many people do they have in the car?
Well done. Another one.
Aim for the tire, player.
Don't stop firing. Sweet.
Thank you.
Got it.
Get a little closer.
Aim for the driver.
Adios.
Anime GTA, yeah. Let's give it around a little bit.
No more. Send a cut. Woodwork.
Oh, that's a lot more of that. Okay.
Finally, some peace and quiet. Hope those cars are insured.
You've got some skills. Ever thought about joining the NCCA?
Is the ACD shutting down big news?
Shutting down, I thought.
People say that Genshin player base also include people with low-end devices, so if this game doesn't get optimized like Genshin, I don't think they can.
What the heck?
QTE! In my anime game!
Hit and run? Not on my watch!
How is this man's shoes gripping the ground?
Oh no!
Yippee Vananta, indeed. That's some creative stuff.
Gonna need to borrow this! Hey, quit hurling stuff, would ya?
That's some really creative
Anyway!
combat animation. I don't think it works like that. Okay, hold on. Physics doesn't work like that. You cannot just grab a barrel from mid and
Strike! Hey,
Just a minor hiccup. Here, catch. Show 'em what for.
perfect! Appreciate it! Knock, knock! Here's a little gift from the fans.
Spider-Man that grab.
Wow, that gift was a real banger. That was intense.
Proper introduction. I'm Lakia Rain, director of the Nova City Crime Agency.
Hi, Kitching.
What do you say, Punk Master? Got a minute?
Wait, are we heading to the NCCA? No need to give me any good citizen awards, honestly.
Let's find a spot and chat for a while. You've got me curious.
Yeah. Hold on. There's this as well. Wait, is that the same one? Yeah, this is the one. Oh, this is the recent one. Okay. How's that car still running? I know, right? I mean, if this game is not aiming for low-end device, then it's just aiming at a different niche than Hoyoverse games. Feels like a little bit of Batman game fighting. Alright, let me find the Spider-Man stuff. There we go. I think this is the Spider-Man stuff. Oh wait, you can switch to other character like this. It's pretty like, kind of like in GTA. This is not gacha? What is this? Wait, what is this game? what is this game? The game that this game's from quite a bit ago. I forgot the name of that. The protagonist would just hack into everything or something like that. Gonna sleep? Okay, coming back. Thanks for hanging out. Looks like GTA mod. Yeah. They will have to distinguish themselves somehow. Hello there. Watch Dogs, right. I mean, it's absolutely fine if they are taking inspiration from those different games and making something their own. It's just a matter of whether the game is good or not. But they have some big shoes to fill in, some big expectation to follow. Alright, where's the Spider-Man thing? There we go. That's a Spider-Man thing. This is literally Spider-Man.
But next time, I'm done playing the delivery.
The animation seems a little bit more stiff compared to Spider-Man.
Time. What's taking you so long?
Huh? I'm already skipping red lights as it is.
I know, I'm just venting about the roasting I got today. Good thing I'm chill or I'd be robbing all their takeout. Forget it, just make sure you don't get caught.
Treadmill scenes basically from Watch Dogs 2.
I won't get pinched.
I mean, it got good humors.
Hey,
I'll give it that.
Cap?
It has good humor. I'll give it that. I would just I will remain somewhat skeptical whether they can pull off a project this big or not. But if they can pull it off and it has decent gameplay and it's just a decent story, it will absolutely blow up. GTA 5 is kind of balanced for low end. If another cannot do that, then it won't be that good. The thing is, there is not really anything that is distinguishing Ananta from the other type of games other than its anime-like. People can point to this game and point to a lot of reference or things that it may be copying from other games. But until it has something unique for itself, people are not going to remember it by. The gameplay will have to carry, or the story will have to carry somehow. When is it coming out? We do not have a date yet. We do not even have a date. They are just teasing.
Wait!
Pre-register now. That's it. I guess we can go to the website and Ananta Game. I don't think they have a date. That's it. There's nothing here. Just pre-register. They have really good marketing team. I'll give them that. But games nowadays can just make pretty looking trailer. Like, why are they showing this? It does not really matter how many people that has pre-registered for the game. What matters is what the substance of the game is, and until they do some kind of tech demo, I would chuck all of this to pretty editing video skill. And anyone can do that without having a good game to back it up. it's coming out at the same time as GTA 6. I think it would take a massive hit on players trying to even... Yeah, GTA is just a game from a developer that is tried and true. They know how to make good games that is fun to play. So that is a huge competition. Alright, so I see a lake. 6.3 has new artifact sets. Questionable. Interesting. Alright, let's look at some lore stuff. We've been stalling enough, chat. This is a video from Meansleaf talking about lore analysis and theories from Act 1 and Act 2 nod-krai Archon Quest. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, and then when I'm back, we're gonna watch this. Alright, I'm back. I think at least the Neverness to Everness game is having some alpha testing right now from a selective group of players, so we know that they have a game behind it. I've yet to see anything like that from Ananta. Do you wash my hands? Yeah, I do. Lord, you have not seen the quest? Yeah, alright. See you around every place. Do the quest so you can hang out on the stream more.
Nod-krai was
Volume up. Nice. Browse the volume. Yep.
Nod-krai was created to bridge the gap between the deep lore of Genshin and its main story. And now that the Luna 1 Archon quests are finally out...
Yeah, I'm glad I did not watch this video. From the first 3 seconds, it spoiled all the cutscenes moment for the quest.
Nod-krai was created to bridge the gap between the deep lore of Genshin and its main story. And now that the Luna 1 Archon quests are finally out... we're left with more questions than ever. And honestly, that's the best part. That's exactly what has me hooked on this story, so much so that I've spent way longer than usual picking up
hand-holding
the detail of these quests. So let's just dive right in. Nod-krai is an autonomous region south of Snezhnaya and is considered one of the harshest places in Teyvat. It has no Archon and no central government. Instead, the closest thing to a legal authority is the Voynich Guild, a powerful merchant group based in Nasha Town. But Nod-krai isn't like anywhere else we've seen before.
Abyss Lumin Booba. That's what you're looking at.
So much so that I...
Chat! That's a dude! That's rare. Rare of a Sonari. That's a dude dressing up as Lumin!
Spent way longer than
All right,
usual
moving on.
picking apart every detail of these quests. So let's just dive right in. Nod-krai is an autonomous region south of Snezhnaya and is considered one of the harshest places in Teyvat. It has no Archon and no central government. Instead, the closest thing to a legal authority is the Voynich Guild, a powerful merchant group based in Nasha Town. But Nod-krai isn't like anywhere else we've seen before, because its people don't rely on traditional visions or elemental power as we've known it. The people of Nod-krai are able to use a special power known as Kuvaki that predates the Archons of Teyvat. Kuvaki is a pure primordial form of elemental energy originating from the moons. There are two major conflicts in Nod-krai at the time of the Act 1 and Act 2 Archon quests. First, the Fatui have their hands all over the region, trying to claim it as sovereign territory for the Saritsa. They've also pulled moon fragments down from the sky. One crashed on Hisi Island, the other on Paha Isle, on top of which they've set up something called the Kuvaki Experiment.
That doesn't look like a full moon fragment. That looks like a full moon to me.
They've set up something called the Kuvaki Experimental Design Bureau. It might sound straightforward. They're here to research the ancient power, Kuvaki, that's inherent to Nod-krai. But there's definitely more.
You're wrong.
They're also encroaching on Frostmoon Scion territory, harassing them over the location of their missing Harbinger Columbina and a sacred...
Hold on, I think the browser volume's a little bit low. Let me increase it so that whenever I talk, it's not overpowering the video.
Relic called the Moon Marrow, which can apparently see the true past. Basically, the Fatui are picking a fight on all fronts, and nobody's happy about it. Not even the...
Something about...
Basically, the Fatui...
There's something about the color of Sandroni eyes that is... doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of her design. It always gives me... Not in a horror sense, but it always gives me a jump scare whenever she opens her eyes. I think it's a deliberate design choice to have her eyes so wildly different from the rest of her design.
They are picking a fight on all fronts, and nobody's happy about it. Not even the local wildlife. I think we all agree with the ibis that pooped in their food. The narrative suggests the Fatui are entering the final stages of their plan for war against Celestia. And what they're doing here in Nod-krai really feels like a critical piece of that puzzle.
She looks like she's Jill, likely.
Scary. We should be scared, but...
And I do have a guess on what her geo construct's gonna be.
I'm also excited, and you'll see why in a bit. Meanwhile, the second threat to Nod-krai is even more ancient, the Wild Hunt. After the fall of Conria, during the Cataclysm, Nod-krai was hit first and hardest, and the Abyss left its deepest scars here. These powerful forces gather into something called the Wild Hunt, an abyssal calamity so overwhelming that Nod-krai had to form an entire faction, the Lightkeepers, just to fight back. Nasha Town even has a massive Kuvaki cannon built by Aino dedicated to holding the Wild Hunt at bay. And here's one of many lore bombs. This Wild Hunt is led by none other than Rarier, one of the 5 sinners of Conria.
Rarier!
Chaos, Traveler has their own mission. They're searching for their spaceship. Their spaceship that crash-landed here in Nod-krai. The logs inside might hold the truth about why they came to this world in the first place. But here's where everything unravels. If the spaceship really did land here, and if the past vision Columbina showed us is actually true, then we have to ask, what—
Hold on. I have a question, Chad.
Their spaceship that crash-landed here in Nod-krai. The logs inside might hold the truth about why they came to this world in the first place. But here's where everything unravels. If the spaceship—
I have a question, Chad. This seems to be the front of the spaceship. So how does the spaceship land like this? If it moves like so, if it moves from right to left, which is the direction that it is facing, this direction, how does a spaceship tuck its tail into a wall? I don't know whether this is just negligence when it comes to their image choice, Or is there something more to this?
Ship really did land here, and if the past vision Columbina showed us is actually true, then we have to ask, what does that mean for the sibling? Did they ever exist in the first place? Or have we been chasing nothing more than an illusion this whole time? This one detail alone has flipped the entire lore of Genshin upside down. Yet again, we're connecting dots from version 1.1
Oh shit!
years ago, trying to figure out how all
My sister is not real!
these lore bumps fit. The lore payoff has been incredible so far in Luna 1. Questions we've been asking for years are finally getting answers, and it feels like all those scattered pieces of lore we've been collecting over time are finally clicking into place. These writers clearly approach these Archon quests differently than anything we've seen before, and likewise, I had to completely rethink how I even approach these analysis videos. There are so many lore threads to pull on and discuss, and we're going to cover all of them, even if it takes a series of videos. I still have to play the world quests. But first, let's ground ourselves in what the quests actually confirmed. So here are the top 5 lore reveals from version Luna 1, Acts 1, and 2, with the last one being the most mind-blowing.
Alright, give me a list.
First, Lauma knows the moon in the sky is fake. She's aware of the false sky. Remember when Mawika punched the hole in Natlan's sky? Or when Nahida bargained with Totore to uncover the truth about it? Or even earlier in version 1.1 when Scaramouche flat out told Traveler and Mona the sky was fake? Well, Lauma figured this all out on her own. But imagine telling a devout civilization that the moon they've prayed to for generations is just a lie, a projection, pixels. This is one of the biggest secrets in Teyvat, and it means a whole lot for both nod-krai's history and the history of Teyvat as
It's supposed to be a secret, but we've been teased about it this entire time, and there's no more lore thread coming to address that at all. It's just a mystery.
a whole. Second, the Fatui's Kuvaki Experimental Design Bureau isn't just a lab. It's a weapons project. The Fatui are trying to build a weapon of mass destruction powered by Kuvaki. But the question is, what do they want to destroy? That's left unanswered in the quests, but if you pay attention to the nod-krai promotional trailers, there are hints.
Oh no.
And those hints suggest the Fatui are preparing to do something extremely blasphemous. Third, Columbina. We got her backstory, we learned how she became the moon goddess of the Frost Moon Scions, but then she drops these cryptic lines. Why is the moon treacherous? What does it mean when she says she wants to return to the moon that belongs to her? Obviously, these aren't throwaway lines. They tie into the mystery of Teyvat's 3 moons, which are finally starting to take center stage in the main story. She deserves her own section because we learned so much about her. Fourth, Rayrir. The sibling we encountered during the Archon quest turns out to be Rayrir, disguising himself. And here's the scary part. He was only using a fraction of his power. Yet
10%.
he still pulled off this nearly perfect imitation and caused considerable destruction. Rayrir is also the first of the 5 sinners of Conria that we've truly met, which makes you wonder if this is what 10% looks like. What's he like at full power? And finally, the biggest lore bomb of all. Traveler's spaceship first landed in nod-krai. Traveler recognizes the Kuvaki energy here as the same power they felt during their arrival. But the memories don't line up. We only see 2 stars in the cutscenes of their arrival, yet they shared a single ship. If there was 1 ship, why 2 stars? Did Traveler misremember? Has their memories been tampered with? Or worse, was the sibling never real to begin with? There are other things I want to dive into outside of these 5 points, including one where I think Genshin may have revealed way too much of the Sarita's backstory a little earlier than maybe they should have.
Sarita?
We'll get to that in just a bit. Let's start with the
Love
first
stories?
lore bomb we listed. Lauma knows the moon in the sky is fake. She knows about the false sky. Now, what even is the false sky, and why does it matter? We've seen characters talk about this for years. Cryptic books mention it, and even Scaramouche flat out told us about it. But in nod-krai, this detail stops being a background mystery and becomes a central part of the story. Which begs the question, if the moon above us is a lie, What happens to a people who have built their entire identity around worshipping it? The false sky is basically a giant shield, a firmament wrapped around Teyvat by the Heavenly Principles. It was created after the Heavenly Principles defeated the 7 dragon sovereigns and claimed the world for humanity. Nabu Malikata, the goddess of flowers, and Sumeru remembered a time when 3 moons once hung in the heavens, but now we only see one. Those 3 moons were the Eternal Moon, the Frost Moon, and the Iridescent Moon, also known by their names Arya, Sonnet, and Canon. The moons were created by the...
Yeah, so a record of Sonari, I think people have been saying that translate to the revenge or the killer or something like that of the moon sonnet.
Dragon King Nibelung to govern the world while he wandered the cosmos. Each moon had a role. The Eternal Moon, the largest, carried such immense kuvaki that it shaped the ocean tides. The Frost Moon was the brightest, its glow a lantern of night. The Iridescent Moon was faint and small, but produced fleeting halos of light when it did shine. But when the Heavenly Principles seized control of the world, the moons were forced under their authority. That's also when the false sky was created, cutting Teyvat off from the rest of the universe. Humanity thrived under the Heavenly Principles and their 4 shades, at least for a time. But then came the Great War of Vengeance. Nibelung returned, wielding the power of the Abyss against the Heavenly Principles. The Great War of Vengeance ended in ruin across Teyvat, the Heavenly Principles wounded but victorious. And what of the fate of the 3 moons? This is where things get messy. Some stories say the sisters killed each other. What's confirmed is that 2 moons were destroyed and only 1 is intact. Lauma's story and the Song of the Welkin Moon event give us the clearest picture of what happened when the moons were destroyed. When the Eternal Moon fell, it threw heaven and earth into chaos. The Eternal Moon controlled Teyvat's ocean tides, so when it was destroyed, it likely triggered the Great Floods, the so-called Diluvian period. These floods might have been caused by the sudden loss of the Eternal Moon's gravitational pull on the oceans. When the Iridescent Moon shattered, its crimson shadow sank into the abyssal sea. And when the Frost Moon finally ceased to turn, entire nations collapsed. The dragons who felt betrayed by the moons celebrated their deaths. Although 2 of the moons were shattered, Skirk confirms that the Frost Moon is intact, but lifeless, though its will hasn't completely faded. And thanks to Lauma, we also know that the remnants scattered across nod-krai, the ones the Fatui are so desperate to gather, are actually fragments of the Eternal Moon. Arya.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the Iridescent Moon's remains were never found at all. Its crimson shadow sank into the abyss, which raises a huge theory. That shadow of the Iridescent Moon may in fact be the Crimson Moon that Conria once worshipped. Which suddenly makes a lot more sense when you realize Rerir, the Conrian sinner we fight in nod-krai, is obsessed with the moons. But we'll talk more about him later. During Act 1, Lauma carries the weight of this knowledge of the false sky. She hides it, fearful of what it would do to her people. But by the end, she decides to reveal it anyway, even if it risks tearing her community apart. Because the Frost Moon Scions built their lives on faith in a fake moon. The fake sky is basically a giant screen. What we see as the moon and stars are nothing more than projections, just images cast across that surface. The Frost Moon Scions once came from Hyperborea, carrying silver blood and horns they believed marked them as ancestors of a divine heir. Their old laws were pretty brutal. Strict marriage rules and exile for those who disobeyed. It wasn't until 500 years ago when Isla became the first moon chanter that things changed. Isla reformed the Scions, ending the harsh laws, devoting them fully to moon worship instead. She even prophesied and witnessed the birth of Kutar, the so-called new moon and potential successor to the Frost Moon. But who exactly was the Frost Moon? The mystery of the moon stretches all the way back to version 1.0.
Hold on, the birth of
successor to the Frost Moon. But who
successor to the Frost Moon? Got it.
The Frost Moon. The mystery of the moon stretches
the original
all the way
one?
back to version 1.0. In Heart's Desire, one of the first books you can grab in the game, they're introduced as Arya, Sonnet, and Canon. For years, we had no clue which name mapped to which moon. Finally, in the Luna 1 Archon quests, we get confirmation. Arya is the Eternal Moon.
Yeah.
The Frost Moon Scion's sacred relic, the Moon Marrow, is literally her remains, condensed into a miniature moon ringed with debris. That leaves Sonnet and Canon for the Frost Moon and the Iridescent Moon. My initial guess is Sonnet is the Frost Moon.
It's
because
literally
in Act
50-50.
1, when we meet the Luonotar, we unlock an achievement called Maidens of Sonnet and Song. The Luonotar are special forms of Kuhenki that are blessed by the moon goddess. But the one we meet doesn't have Columbina's blessing, which lines up with Skirk's note that the Frost Moon is lifeless but not fully gone. It's the only moon will left who could give a blessing. The achievement name Maidens of Sonnet and Song feels like a direct clue. If Sonnet is
So
the
Sonnet
Frost
was a
Moon,
Frost
then
Moon.
Canon must be the Iridescent Moon, whose shadow became the Crimson Moon of Conria. This actually makes sense when you think about what a canon is in music. A canon starts with one melody, and then another voice copies it at a set interval, overlapping until you get these layered lines. Basically a musical version of Follow the Leader.
She's gonna use the example from inside the Palais Menomia, or whatever that place is called, right? Oh, this is back. Okay.
This technique was especially common in Baroque music. So calling the Iridescent Moon or the Crimson Moon canon fits.
Why are we
because
watching
the
Dane's
abyss
wife?
does
Because
the
we are
exact same
interested in what Dane's wife has to say.
thing. It imitates, it copies, it creates
About lore.
shadows of what's real. The Conrians even made rune machines that mimic organic creatures. The Abyss created a shadow version of Shuukoto, the Pyro Dragon Sovereign. And the Crimson Moon itself is described as just that, a shadow, a copy of the shattered iridescent moon.
In this Domestico course, you will learn the essential techniques for sketching industrial product design using
Crimson Moon is a name that should be familiar because it ties directly to Arlecchino, who is still one of the most mysterious harbingers even this far past her release. She's a descendant of the Crimson Moon dynasty, and it's from them that she inherits the Bale Moon blood fire running through her veins. In her
Crimson
story
Moon
quest,
dynasty,
we see just how powerful it is. A potion can be brewed from her cursed blood.
Hold
In
on.
her quest, we see that she inherits the Bale Moon blood fire running
Bale
through her
Moon
veins.
blood fire.
In her story quest, we see just how powerful it is. A potion can be brewed from her cursed blood, which completely erases a person's memories of the House of the Hearth. It can kill someone's current self, or that chapter of their life. Even without the potion, her flames leave behind after images of those she's killed. Sometimes, those after images even appear as conscious shadows. From childhood, her Bale Moon blood fire has been both a weapon and a threat to her own body. It first burned her fingers, then reached up to her arms, and now she constantly waits for the day it reaches her heart. But here's where things get really interesting. Arlecchino's Crimson Moon bloodline mirrors
Hello,
the
are we-
Frost Moon Scions. The Frost Moon Scions descend from Hyperborean Moon bloodline mirrors the Frost Moon Scions. The Frost
Okay.
Moon Scions descend from Hyperborea, and their sacred lineage gives them silver blood. Centuries later, Lauma's silver blood is considered rare but a miracle, a sign that maybe the moon goddess had not abandoned her people. It made her a symbol of hope, and with it came immense expectation. Lauma's silver blood makes her attuned with animals, nature, and lunar power itself. Drops of her blood could even heal those suffering from Kuvaki sensitivity. So while Arlecchino's flames erase memory and bring about a kind of death of the self, Lauma's silver blood preserves life. Two bloodlines both blessed or cursed by the moons. And when you put those side by side, it almost feels like we're looking at reflections of the four shades: life, death, time, and space. After all, there are four shades. And there are 4 moons.
3,
moons
4?
plus the prophecy of a new moon. That parallel is probably not a coincidence. The 4 shades were created by the
Okay, I need to hear more. That seems like a stretch.
heavenly principles. The same being who created the false sky, the massive shield wrapped around the planet. The false sky is just a projection, and the real sky lies beyond its barrier.
You told Ari?
This is
You told Ari
exactly
what?
why Lauma's decision in the Act 1 Archon quest matters so much. If the Scions kept devoting themselves to the moon they see in the sky, their faith would be wasted on an illusion. and that's why she risks everything to reveal the truth. For her, it's about breaking a cycle and tearing down blind devotion to a false image so her people can finally step into a future where they don't have to depend on a power beyond themselves. Lauma is aware of the false sky, and so are the Fatui. Which brings us to the next major reveal confirmed in the nod-krai Archon quests. The Fatui's Kuvaki Experimental Design Bureau isn't just a lab, it's a
4
weapons
moons,
project. The
3 dead and 1 reborn. Okay.
A massive weapon powered by Kuvaki, but the question is, what do they want to destroy? Who or what is the target? The Fatui's goals in the overarching story are 1. To collect all the Archon's Gnosis, 2. Wage war against Celestia, and 3. Burn away the old world. We already know why they want the Gnosis, and I'll get to that in a bit. The Fatui Harbingers have been summoned back to Snezhnaya and sent straight into nod-krai under the highest order, the Pale Star Edict. Their mission is to retrieve Columbina, who had resigned from her position and disappeared somewhere in the region. So I think we're going to see way more than just Ettore and Sandrone in this version. The Fatui's presence in nod-krai has been nothing short of hostile, and the Archon quests finally give us a full picture of just how much damage they've already caused. Nod-krai is supposed to be autonomous, but the Fatui are trying to drag it back under the Tsaritsa's control, claiming it as sovereign Snezhnayan territory. To make things worse, they've
Perhaps it's because Columbina resigned, so they need some semblance of control over some other fragments of the moon.
Been relentlessly harassing the Frost Moon Scions, demanding not only the whereabouts of Columbina, but also their most sacred relic, the Moon Marrow. And their aggression doesn't stop there. The Fatui have actually pulled down remnants of the Eternal Moon itself. One remnant crashed into Hisi Island, another onto Paha Isle, and on top of that second impact site, they've built something called the Kuvaki Experimental Design Bureau.
That was a long time ago. What? How long ago was that?
A massive weapon
Cannot be too long ago.
By Kuvaki, a Fatui Death Star. And here's the chilling part. We don't know yet what the target of that weapon is supposed to be, but we do have some clues. First is in the God's Limits teaser. It heavily suggests that the Fatui might actually be planning to kill a god. And the most obvious target, the Heavenly Principles. We're told they're currently asleep, so really what better time for the Fatui to strike than now? In Prelude to
Lauma's
Midnight,
500.
Rain leaves us
I don't think Lauma is 500. She was not there when Columbina was born. I think Columbina was born 500 years ago.
With one cryptic line.
While the Fatui look to the stars above, trying in vain to seize the false firmament.
This gives us reason to believe that the Fatui's real goal is to destroy the false sky, the barrier separating Teyvat from the rest of the universe. And they might actually have 2 different ways to do it. Either they're planning to fire a massive Kuvaki-powered laser directly at the false sky, or they're trying to harness Kuvaki's magnetism to drag the corpse of the Frost Moon back down, letting its impact shatter the false sky itself.
That sounds funny.
The Fatui have managed to breach the false sky before. They were able to bring down the remnants of the Eternal Moon, with fragments crashing into nod-krai.
But that doesn't shatter the false sky.
Says herself she met Columbina not long after those remnants fell, and Columbina admits she's already fulfilled her oath to the Tsaritsa, though at the cost of exhausting a huge amount of her own power. That suggests it was Columbina who helped pull those moon remnants down in the first place. Which leads us to another possibility. Maybe the Fatui need those fragments of the Eternal Moon to build up enough Kuvaki energy to bring the Frost Moon, another moon, down. But that leaves us with the biggest question of all. What does destroying the false sky actually achieve for the Fatui? What's the endgame here? We don't have solid confirmation yet, but we can make some pretty strong guesses. And from what I can see, there are 2 major things the Fatui might be after, with the first one being extremely game-breaking. Destroying the false sky will end Celestia's monopoly on fate. If the false sky is what encodes the destinies of everyone in Teyvat, then breaking it might free everyone from the script Celestia has imposed on them since the very beginning. Now, to understand this theory, we need to go all the way
So is that part of the script though? To make the illusion of breaking the script, breaking the sky, the false sky is also part of the script. And then it's gonna reset at some point, right?
This was the first time we ever heard the words, "the sky is fake," and it came from none other than Scaramouche, a Fatui harbinger. During the event, Mondstadt observed a strange phenomenon where falling stars were crashing down onto Teyvat. Traveler, Paimon, Mona, and Fischl went to investigate. But here's the problem. If the false sky is really a barrier separating Teyvat from the rest of the universe, then how can stars even fall through it? Even weakened, it shouldn't just let anything slip by. The Fatui project just started a couple months ago according to Lauma, which leads to the unsettling possibility the stars we've been looking at this whole time might not even be real. Think about it. In the night sky, stars sometimes appear in front of the moon. That makes no sense in the real universe. And in Unreconciled Stars, Mona even says that those meteorites, those so-called falling stars, came from someone's constellation. But how could that be possible? The answer may lie in the Irminsul. Irminsul is the great tree that records all the history and memories of Teyvat. It can even grow crystalline Irminsul fruits like the ones we saw in the Energy Amplifier Initiation event. And if you look closely at the fallen stars from Unreconciled Stars, they're identical to Irminsul fruits. That means everyone's constellation isn't made of real stars at all. They're made from the arrangement of Irminsul fruits embedded into the false sky. The heavenly principles created the false sky, and by extension, they also created the constellations humanity sees above. These constellations encode people's fates. Each fruit records and determines the past, present, and future of every person in Teyvat. Therefore, constellations equal fate itself. Astrologists like Mona can read them to determine a character's fate, but now we know these fates are predetermined. They might even be censored, rewritten, or manipulated versions of what destiny was supposed to be. And that's exactly why the Traveler stands out. They don't have a constellation until the moment they resonated with a statue of the Seven, which means they're not bound by Celestia's script. They're free in a way no one else in Teyvat is. So when you put all of this together, the Fatui's plan starts to make terrifying sense. If the false sky is what contains these false stars, the constellations that bind humanity to Celestia's will, then destroying it would break Celestia's control of fate. Whether that would truly liberate everyone or just unleash chaos, that's the question we're left with. Remember, the false sky is...
If we can deny fate is following the script that's preventing the sky from being destroyed and the frost moons. Okay.
Trying to protect us from something out there. The Irminsul is most likely inspired by Yggdrasil, the world tree from Norse mythology. In those stories, Yggdrasil's branches stretch all the way up into the heavens. Genshin mirrors that idea with the Irminsul. It's technically the world tree of Teyvat. Its roots are the ley lines and its fruits are the stars which record and shape everyone's fates. Now here's where things get interesting. In that land, the Sage of the Sacred Flame tells us that the heavenly principles converted the ley lines into a girdle that defends the planet. If we take that literally, it means the ley lines, the roots and branches of Irminsul, were reshaped into a kind of shield around Teyvat. And that shield is what we now call the false sky. Going by this logic, we can assume that the false sky was built out of the Irminsul itself. The branches of the world tree were converted into a dome that locks Teyvat off from the real universe, while its stars are just projections of Irminsul's data. And if that's true, then destroying the Irminsul with a Kuvaki-powered weapon wouldn't just shatter the barrier around Teyvat, it would also destroy the database holding the entire memory of the old world. So, destroying the Irminsul tree would thereby accomplish the Fatui's goals to create a new world. The second reason the Fatui might want to destroy the false sky involves the new moon. Destroying the false sky could allow the new moon to finally materialize. Columbina does say that two moons
it almost sounds like Teyvat
at the same time, let alone consume one.
Hold on. It almost sounds like Teyvat is already doomed, keeps resetting like a pre-record. It's pre-recorded. Yeah, perhaps. I think there's probably some time loop happening in here. Whole universe has been toying with the idea in some of the other games too.
Destroying the false sky could allow the new moon to finally materialize. Columbina does say that two moons will not rise at the same time, let alone consume one another. And to really understand what that means, we have to talk about Columbina and what we actually learned about her during the Luna 1 Archon quests. According to Lauma, Kutar was born on Hisi Island about 500 years ago. Her birth was prophesied and witnessed by Ayla, the very first moon chanter of the Frost Moon Scions. She quietly recorded the miracle and even carved a statue to honor it. The legend says that Kutaru's birth was an event accompanied by a sudden appearance.
We're watching some lore stuff.
These creatures wove moonlight event accompanied by a sudden appearance of countless kuhenki. These creatures wove moonlight itself into silken garments that clothed her like a goddess. From that day on, the kuhenki were seen as Kutaru's familiars. Their instinct to protect her, to bring joy to her, even to guide travelers to hidden treasures, traces all the way back to that moment. And here's a fun detail. The kuhenki actually resemble rabbits, which is no accident because it ties directly to the old myth of the rabbit on the moon. You've probably heard of it. The markings on the moon's surface across different cultures are seen as the outline of a rabbit. In Chinese folklore, there's the moon rabbit. Different cultures are seen as the outline of a rabbit. In Chinese folklore, there's the moon rabbit or jade rabbit Yutu who lives alongside the moon goddess Chang'e and endlessly pounds the elixir of life. Columbina herself tells us that
what was Chang'e?
The surface across different cultures are seen as the outline of a rabbit. In Chinese folklore, there's the moon rabbit or jade rabbit Yutu who lives alongside the moon goddess Chang'e and endlessly pounds the elixir of life. Columbina herself tells us that it all started when the frost moon scions found her. Before she even understood what was happening, they were already calling her their goddess, and in her own words, she had no reason to decline. But even then,
Chinese
she
god of the moon.
Something was always missing. That emptiness only fueled the Scion's greed and doubt. Over time, Columbina realized this place was never truly her home. The Scions asked her for everything. They wanted her to forge weapons, drive out their enemies, and help them expand their territory. And she did. She gave and gave until one day she simply couldn't anymore. That's when she asked the question that still lingers: if mortals can turn to the gods when they are powerless, then who do the gods turn to when they have nothing left to give? And with that, she left, only to experience similar treatment in the Fatui. The only ones who ever seemed to treat her well were Arlecchino, Sandrone, and apparently La Signora. But just a few
Arlecchino, Sandrone, and La Signora. Okay.
months ago, after the two ancient moon remnants fell from the sky, Columbina was spotted on Hisi Island.
Legend Bang Bang?
Again.
Yeah.
That's when
very
from
cool.
the sky, Columbina was spotted on
You're doing imaginary 2 times because you forgot to do the Arcana face.
So after the two
That
ancient
does
moon
happen.
remnants fell from the sky, Columbina was
Sometimes we do the
spotted
boss
on
and forgot the
Hisi
Arcana
Island once
face.
again. That's when the Fatui presence in nod-krai turned.
Hold on, I keep missing what she's talking about.
And apparently La Signora. But just a few months ago, after the two ancient moon remnants fell
A
from
few
the
months
sky,
ago.
Columbina was spotted on Hisi Island once again. That's when the Fatui presence in nod-krai turned aggressive. They've been harassing the Scions ever since, and according to Sandrone, there's even an official search warrant out for her, although Sandrone herself doesn't turn Columbina in. What makes Columbina even more mysterious is her name, or rather, her lack of one. Kutar is the title the Frost Moon Scions gave her, taken from Hure Kutar, their name for the frost moon. Columbina is the name she received from the Fatui, but she claims she doesn't know her true name at all. Columbina was born in Teyvat alone, with no one around to name her. But here's the real question. What even is Columbina? The Frost Moon Scions worship her as the new moon, but she herself says her power actually comes from the Frost Moon. So if that's the case, does that make her the true new moon? Or is she just the rebirth of the Frost Moon itself? After all, Skirk told us that the will of the Frost Moon hasn't fully dissipated. If that's true, then maybe Columbina is simply that will reborn into a new form. But hold on, it gets even more confusing. In nod-krai's reputation system,
Give it to me.
Silver Moon Hall Selenic Chronicles, when you finish all the quests, you unlock the wings of the Silent Moon Wind Glider. Its description reads, a stylized wind glider gifted to you as a mark of the Welkin Moon's acknowledgement and recognition. So wait a second, does that mean Columbina isn't the Frost Moon or the New Moon at all, but actually the Welkin Moon? So now we're left with this mess of possibilities.
But where's my white hair?
The Welkin Moon? So now we're left with this mess of possibilities. Is Columbina the Frost Moon reborn, the prophesied new moon, or the avatar of the Welkin Moon itself? Of course.
So what is the Welkin Moon in lore?
Possibility is that Columbina really is just the Frost Moon reborn. That's the simplest explanation. If she really is the Frost Moon reborn, then at some point we can probably expect her to merge with the lingering will of the Frost Moon that's still kicking around. But I think there's actually a way for all of it to be true at the same time. That she's the Frost Moon reborn, the New Moon, and the Welkin Moon. Here's how I picture it. The word Welkin is an old term that means sky or heaven, but more specifically, it refers to the vault of the sky or the firmament in 12th century Middle English. So when we talk about the Welkin Moon, we can literally translate that to the moon of the false sky. In other words, the Welkin Moon isn't its own celestial body at all. It's a projection. Think of it like taking a picture of the Frost Moon and beaming it onto a giant screen. The real moon is still there, but what we see in the sky is just a projection.
That's the Welkin Moon?
An imperfect copy. Now, Columbina herself said that each moon belonged to a moon goddess, so here's the idea. When she was born, the closest moon she could latch onto wasn't the original Frost Moon. It was the Welkin Moon, the projection or copy of the Frost Moon. That's why she refers to herself as carrying the Frost Moon's power, but also why she can't fully call herself the Frost Moon either. In a weird way, the Frost Moon is like her mother. The lullaby she sings, if taken literally, even hints at that connection, with the Frost Moon as the mother and her as the daughter. The Frost Moon exists first, and because of it, the Welkin Moon, the imperfect copy, exists first, and because of it, the Welkin Moon, the imperfect copy, exists too. Columbina tells us her one wish, to return to the moon, to her home where her story is written. If Columbina really is the Welkin Moon, then she isn't the Frost Moon itself. She's currently an imperfect copy of its power, which means the home she might long to return to wouldn't be
the Welkin Moon,
the false sky, but the real Frost Moon that projection was copied from. She says her story was written on the moon, but if she's just the avatar of its projection, then it explains why her story feels incomplete. It's like she's been scribbled on the wrong pages of a book, cut from the original, never properly bound into the story she belongs to. To her, the true Frost Moon is where her full story should be written. But here in Teyvat, under the false sky, that first half of her story has been erased, censored, or maybe even rewritten. Either
how can her story be written on a Frost Moon? I guess the fate of everyone in Teyvat is written on the false sky through constellation and Omenso, but her fate is written somewhere else. I guess that's the sentiment of it.
Columbina is the Welkin Moon itself, or she isn't, and she's simply the will of the Frost Moon reborn into a new form. For now, I lean toward the first theory because it's the only way her cryptic messages really make sense. There's something really interesting we need to stop and talk about. The Hymns of the Far North, a book series you can find in-game, reveals a lot about nod-krai. Honestly, maybe too much. It might even be spoiling the future of Genshin's story, so I actually don't know how I feel about it being released so early. We'll dive deeper into this later, but we need to talk about it, especially because one part of it could reveal the Tsaritsa's entire backstory. But here's a key detail for now. One of the hymns is actually a prayer to Istaroth, the goddess of time, asking her to protect the 4 imprisoned moons. Now pair that with what we learn in the Song of the Welkin Moon web event, where nod-krai itself is described as the remnant of a 4th moon that failed to fully materialize. This mysterious 4th moon might actually connect to the story told in Ineffa's weapon, the Fractured Halo. Thousands of years ago, after the Heavenly Principles had already conquered Teyvat, but before the Great War of Vengeance, the Pyro Sovereign stepped in to stop the dragons and the Sage of the Sacred Flame from creating another moon, something they called the Great Miracle of Moon Forging. It makes sense why we find a prayer to Istaroth, the god of time, begging her to protect the 4 imprisoned moons. It suggests that at the time, the 4th moon project was already underway, and Istaroth was still actively being worshipped. 4 moons make sense for Columbina as well, who should be a goddess of her own moon. But if there really was an attempt to forge a 4th moon, then we already know how that story ended. The project failed, and the land of nod-krai itself was formed over the remains of that 4th moon that never materialized, which would mean
I thought the power, the Kuhanki thing is coming, Kuvaki thing is coming from the eternal moon falling down? Or is the eternal moon is just the extra pieces that Paha'ai Fatui is researching in Paha'ai and Laoma people is keeping in Hisi Island?
Nod-krai is literally the corpse of a failed celestial body. So if Nod-krai is basically the corpse of that failed fourth moon, then what does that make Columbina? She might be the living continuation of what that moon was supposed to become. And that's where a paradox comes in. Her essence or her powers ties back to the frost moon. But her birth, her origin, and destiny are tied to a fourth moon that failed to materialize. And sitting right between the true frost moon and the failed fourth moon, the Welkin moon. That explains Laoma's words, the prophecy of the moon goddess came to pass, though not quite. Columbina is a moon goddess, but maybe not a perfect one. At least, not yet. Let's talk about Columbina's flowers. These flowers have grown in Nod-krai for generations, and they're extremely sensitive to the ebb and flow of Kuvaki. When Columbina is calm, the flowers glow blue. When she's angry, they turn red. And when she's unwell, the flowers in her domain fade to white. I think this might be connected to the fall sky itself. Remember, the fall sky projects a blue sky, but it's actually made of red pixels. So if Columbina really is tied to the Welkin moon or the false sky moon, maybe her condition reflects the health of the false sky. Alice once claimed that the borders of Teyvat are weakening. And if we look at the description of the all-devouring narwhal, it suggests that Teyvat is separated from the larger universe by barriers created by some higher power. But those barriers have been constantly under pressure, with the universe itself trying to infiltrate Teyvat. That means the false sky could be more fragile now than it has ever been. And the Fatui dragging down moon remnants is probably only making things worse. So if Columbina really is the Welkin moon, that could be dangerous for her and for everyone else. But it might also mean she's far more powerful than we realize, especially if, right now, she's only an incomplete moon goddess. And this could explain something else. It might be why Alice herself is a nod-krai. If she's actually the sustainer of the world's borders, if those borders are the false sky, then the Fatui trying to break or claim it would directly threaten her domain. And speaking of Alice, we can't forget about her colleague, Nicole Rain. Because I think she might have actually made a sneaky appearance in Act 2 of the Luna 1 Archon quest.
Yeah.
When Flynn's traveler in Paimon investigates,
I think that's Nicole too.
Suddenly helped by a mysterious ghost radiating golden power. Flynn's also notices that during the Kuvaki cannon blast, several bolts aimed at Hisi Island were blocked. He suspects Columbina, but it wasn't her. I think it was Nicole Rain. In the Song of the Welkin Moon teaser, we actually see her on Hisi Island activating.
Oh yeah, right, that's the location.
Nicole Rain is a member of the Hexen but also likely an angel or Seelie. Her name also seems inspired by Nicole Rain Lipote, the astronomer and human computer who accurately predicted Halley's Comet's return dates and was honored with both an asteroid and a lunar crater named after her. One interesting detail is that Nicole Rain is mute. She can only communicate telepathically. Columbina, on the other hand, always wears a veil over her eyes. And after seeing how Rhindaughter merged with Nibirius, the god of life, I feel like anything is possible at this point. This is definitely heavy speculation, but what if Nicole Rain, like Columbina, is actually a moon goddess too? Maybe even the residual will of the frost moon itself. Again, this is strictly a theory, but the witches have a pretty stacked roster working behind the scenes. But while she's working in the background, another figure is stepping forward. Rayhir of Solnari, whose obsession with the moons fuels more chaos than nod-krai. He's one of the 5 sinners of Conria and the first one we've actually met.
Hold on, let me see the representation of this. I think Rayhir is on the right. Skirk's Master is on the second from the left. The middle is probably Rhindaughter. The second from right is likely Dainsleif's brother. And then there is one more we do not know as of right now.
One of the 5 sinners of Conria and the first one we've actually met face to face. Technically, we did meet Vedderfolnir, Dainsleif's older brother, but that was only through our siblings' memory in the Caribbear Archon quest, so I don't really count it as a direct meeting. What's exciting here is that Genshin finally confirmed something.
Wait, was that the quest that we met
only these.
The older brother?
Meet Vedderfolnir, Dainslif's older brother, but that was only through our siblings' memory in the Care Bear Archon quest, so I don't really count it as a direct meeting. What's exciting here is that Genshin finally confirmed something we've been theorizing on this channel for a long time. Rerir is the leader of the Wild Hunt in nod-krai. Back in Conria, Rerir was considered one of the best among his peers, standing alongside Surt the Logi, Rhindaughter, Vedderfolnir, and Hroptatyr. But even then, he stood out for one thing, an alleged obsessive fixation on the moons. After he and the others divided abyssal power amongst themselves, they didn't use it to protect their homeland or save Conria. Instead, they abandoned it. That betrayal is what earned them their infamous title, the Five Sinners of Conria. At some point after the Cataclysm, Rerir formed the Wild Hunt. But something happened to him that changed everything. He fell into what's described as the moon's reflection, a place considered a point of no return. From that moment, the Wild Hunt began to spiral out of control. Somehow Rerir survived, being torn into countless pieces and hurled into the swirling chaos of time itself. Almost sounds like he went through a black hole. Thanks to the abyssal power he carried, possibly combined with Renova's curse of immortality, his will lived on even though his physical body was completely destroyed. His remains were scattered across nod-krai, but his will was strong enough to pull fragments of himself back together, creating a broken phantom-like form. His main component, or his heart, ended up sealed inside Flynn's lantern. It's interesting that Rerir's body appears to have been shattered into crystals, very similar to Vedderfolnir, another of the sinners who we learned in the Care Bear Archon quest, speaks from a massive crystal. This might be one of the punishments placed in the sinners, or maybe even their crazy experiment, and it could explain why Rhindaughter had to merge with the heart of Nibirius, the god of life, just to survive. Rerir has the power to copy other characters, though not perfectly. It's the same trait we've observed with the Abyss and one that Conria has tried to reproduce with their own machines. During this quest, he even disguised himself as our sibling, which means the sibling we explored the domain with wasn't our real sibling at all. At the very end of the Act 2 Luna 1 Archon quest, we find out that Varka was tracking Rerir the whole time. There's actually a subtle hint about this right at the beginning of Act 1. When Traveler and Paimon visit the flagship, Damien mentions that Varka had left for Lake Amsvartnir. The location isn't accessible in-game yet, but its name already gives us a huge clue. In Norse mythology, Amsvartnir means pitch black. It's the lake that contains the island Lingvi, the place where the gods bound Fenrir, the monstrous wolf destined to break free during Ragnarok. Fenrir helps to ignite the flames that bring about the end of the world, the collapse of human society, and even the death of Odin himself. So, if Varka and his knights were heading to Lake Amsvartnir, it strongly suggests they're investigating something abyssal in nature. And since he was on Rerir's trail the entire time, this could mean Lake Amsvartnir is close to where Rerir's main domain might be revealed in the future.
Also, why is Varka not appearing to help with the Traveler when they're fighting Rerir? If Varka has been tracking Rerir this whole time, I hope that they give us a satisfying reason for that in the future.
Rerir's title is Reihir of Solnari, which translates to Moon Hunter or Avenger of the Moon. But here's the strange part. We don't actually know what Solnari is. The only other time we've seen the word is in the Song of the Welkin Moon, Solnari, Avenger of the Moon. But is Reihir of Solnari, which translates to Moon Hunter or Avenger of the Moon. But here's the strange part. We don't actually know what Solnari is. The only other time we've seen the word is in the Song of the Welkin Moon teaser in a note Alice was holding. That note lists 3 words: Aralos, Solnari, and Canon. The names of the 3 moons are always introduced in the same order: Aria, Sonnet, and Canon. That order might be important because it suggests that Sonnet could actually be tied to Solnari, possibly even the Crimson Moon that Conria once worshipped. Originally, we theorized that Sonnet might be the Frost Moon.
I just realized something. The entire questline is called Song of the Welkin Moon. So I guess Colombina is the Welkin Moon, right? There's more solid ground to that now.
Mainly because once worshipped. Originally, we theorized that Sonnet might be the Frost Moon, mainly because of the Luonatar achievement. But Alice's note points in a different direction, hinting that Sonnet could instead be the iridescent moon. At this point, there's evidence to support both possibilities, but honestly, we don't have enough confirmation to say for sure whether Sonnet is the frost moon or the iridescent moon. Although personally, I lean more on Sonnet being the frost moon. Now, canon and Alice's note, though personally...
So what if... Okay, I guess I don't have enough law knowledge to say... to refute Miss Liv's argument. What if the Luonotar is actually from the iridescent moon instead? And...
It might in the difference to support both possibilities, but instead be the movement. But Alice says that Sonnet might be the frost moon, mainly...
What if the Luonotar are coming from the iridescent moon as well, and then it's called Sonnet?
Because of the Luonotar achievement. But Alice, at this point, there's evidence to support both possibilities, but honestly, we don't have enough confirmation to say for sure whether Sonnet is the frost moon or the iridescent moon. Although personally, I lean more on Sonnet being the frost moon. Now, canon and Alice's notes is the easiest to make sense of, since we literally saw Aino's Kuvaki canon in the Act 2 Archon quest. That leaves Aralos and Solnari. If you flip Aralos backwards, you get Solara, which could connect to the sun. As for Solnari, it might be a compound of two Germanic words, Sol meaning sun and Nari meaning narrow, or in Old Norse, Nar meaning corpse. Put together, sun and corpse instantly make me think of an eclipse, the sun hidden behind the moon. The moon itself is just a lifeless corpse in the true sky. And of course, eclipses are heavily tied to Conria's imagery. We already know Conria worshipped the crimson moon, and we've speculated that this crimson moon was actually the shadow of the destroyed iridescent moon that sank into the abyss. So here's a theory. What if Rerir, like Arlecchino, was a descendant of the Crimson Moon dynasty? If he carried Bale Moon Bloodfire, that might even explain how he was able to wield Kuvaki. Now I'll admit, there isn't much evidence for that yet. Again, it's more of a theory than confirmation, but it would create some fascinating parallels between Rerir and Arlecchino. Also, Rerir, Rehir of Solnari, could now read as the Avenger of the Crimson Moon dynasty. What we do know is could now read parallels between Rerir and Arlecchino. Also, Rerir, Rehir of Solnari, could now read as the Avenger of the Crimson Moon dynasty. What we do know is that Rerir is also called the Blasphemy of Death. A while back on this channel, we theorized that the five sinners of Conria might be trying to either imitate or steal the powers of the heavenly principles in the four shades: life, death, time, and space. Rhindaughter's status backs this up, especially with her merging with Nibirius, the god of life, and the Stygian onslaught weapon descriptions that hint at these powers. For Rerir specifically, his weapon is called the Shattered Moon, a polearm described as a glorious but illusory weapon infused with the power of death, born from the depths of the ley lines. And if the version of Rerir we fought in nod-krai was only 10% of his full power, I honestly can't wait to see what he's like at 100%. Don't get me wrong though, Dainsleif would still clear him. During the end of Act 2, Rerir also screams out the name Thalindis. The thing is, we don't actually know of any character by that name yet, but the word itself might give us a clue. Tholin comes from ancient Greek, meaning sepia ink. In science, a tholin is a reddish organic component that shows up on the surfaces and in the atmospheres of outer solar system bodies like the moon Titan or Pluto. They're thought to play an important role in the origins of life. So what does that tell us? The fact that tholins are tied to outer solar system bodies makes me wonder if Thalindis might be an outlander, someone not from Teyvat at all, an alien.
What if at the end of Genshin all the sinners get together and say, Avengers! Assemble!
The names of Rhindaughter and Vedrfolnir, both of whom are Conrian. That could mean Thalindis could also be from Conria, even possibly from the Crimson Moon dynasty. The only other major Conrian whose true name we still don't know is Piero, the director of the Fatui. Could Thalindis be Piero's real name? Or could it be the name of another outlander who was summoned to Conria? Remember, Conria did have a program dedicated to finding or even summoning outlanders, so it's not impossible that Thalindis was one of them. Rerir's name comes from the Volsunga saga. In the myth, Rerir avenges his murdered father Sigi and becomes a powerful ruler in Hunaland. He and his wife couldn't have children until the goddess Frigg intervened, but Rerir died shortly after the conception. His wife carried the child for 6 years before sacrificing her life in a cesarean birth. The child, Volsung, was born fully grown and kissed his mother before she died. If Genshin pulls strongly from this myth, then the Lindis might even turn out to be Rayrir's lost lover. There's also a small but easy to miss detail at the end of Act 2. We see Rayrir approaching a cave.
Yes, everyone is doing that out of love. Yes, every single character from the story is doing things out of love. Wow.
That cave is actually the location of the Traveler's spaceship. You can even visit it yourself at this location in Star Sand Shoal. The Traveler's spaceship. You can even visit a cave.
Oh, people can actually find this location. Have we been here, chat? I actually forgot. Have we been here in the story after we see the location?
Traveler's spaceship. You can even visit it yourself at this location in Star Sand Shoal.
We actually visited? Wow, I have no recollection of that. When did we do that?
Which brings us to what I think is the biggest mystery Genshin has finally confirmed. The Traveler and their sibling spaceship landed in Nod-krai. For years, most of us assumed their ship.
Hold on. Okay, what's the relevant thing here?
There's also a small but easy to miss detail at the end of Act 2. We see Rayrir approaching a cave. That cave is actually the location of the Traveler's spaceship. You can even visit it yourself at this location in Star Sand Shoal. Which brings us to what I think is the biggest mystery Genshin has finally confirmed. The Traveler and their sibling spaceship landed in Nod-krai. For years, most of us assumed their ship crashed somewhere near Conria. But no, this reveal changes everything. Before we talk about the...
What? Okay, sure. What has been changed?
Parts that really bend your brain, let's start with what's actually confirmed.
I don't even know what it was before it was changed. But sure, give it to me, Minslip.
The very first mention of the Traveler's spaceship came in this Space and Time for You Archon quest. Now, the Luna 1 quest established that the Traveler and their sibling didn't arrive separately. They arrived together in a single ship. The vessel carried 2 cryo-sleep chambers, one for each of them, and each chamber required its own key. The spaceship also eerily resembles ancient dragon tech. According to the Traveler's account, their ship also eerily...
No.
resembles ancient dragon tech. According to the Traveler's account, their ship crash-landed in nod-krai. An unknown amount of time passed, long enough for thick moss to grow over it. The Traveler was eventually woken up by their sibling during the cataclysm 500 years ago. The two of them then tried to leave Teyvat, but were stopped and separated by the unknown god, someone we now know to be Asmodee, the god of space. In the siblings' version of events, things play out rather oddly. They claim they were the first to wake up from hibernation, and when they did, they had no memory of the Traveler at all. Instead of waiting, they left their still sleeping twin behind and made their way to Conria. Once there, the last King Irmin actually appointed the sibling as heir to the throne. To the court of Conria, they were seen as a savior, a source of hope and strength for the kingdom. But this role came at a cost. 500 years ago, King Irmin performed a ritual to turn the sibling into a vessel for abyssal power. The sibling had planned to save Conria from collapse, but that plan changed the moment Diradith told them that the Traveler was looking for them. Faced with a choice, save an entire nation or reunite with their twin, they chose the Traveler. They seemingly rushed back to nod-krai to the site of the crash, woke up their twin, and urged them to flee the planet. What we don't know is how long the sibling was awake before all this. And here's where things start to get even more strange. Traveler notices that both cryo-sleep chambers are still sealed shut. Both. So how could one of them already be outside? That detail reminds me of something Nahida once told the Traveler, and it makes things all the more confusing. Nahida explained that while Irminsul and even the Fatui recognize the Traveler as a descender, their sibling is not. Outlanders are just aliens in general, but Descenders are something else. They're beings who can defy the will of this world. Irminsul shouldn't have records of a Descender, and yet it has records of the sibling, which would only be possible if the sibling actually belonged to Teyvat. That's already a contradiction because according to the Traveler's own memories, they both came from a world beyond Teyvat. However, Irminsul contains clear...
I don't think that memory may be correct. This, from this alone, it seems like Traveler is coming alone.
Both came from a world beyond Teyvat. However, Irminsul contains clear records of the siblings' sudden appearance in Conria and their journey across the 7 nations, but near the end of their story, the records become fuzzy. Nahida concluded that someone is deliberately tampering with Irminsul to obscure the truth of the siblings' fate. So we have to ask the question, was the sibling we've been seeing even our real sibling? What if our actual sibling is still asleep inside the spaceship's chamber? Or worse, already dead inside of it? And when you remember that Rayrir has the ability to copy people, that possibility becomes even scarier. But there's something even more wrong with this scene. We know the Traveler and their sibling arrived together in the same spaceship. That means logically there should have only been one falling star when they landed in Teyvat. But in the opening cutscene of Genshin, we see 2. Why? My homie Bran Online pointed out a really interesting possibility, that the opening cutscene might actually be out of order. The 2 streaks of light across the sky might not be their arrival at all. They could actually be the exact moment the twins were separated by Asmodee. Believe it or not, Scaramouche is actually the only character who gives us the most convincing scenario for what might have really happened. In the Sumeru Interlude Archon quest, he explains that the reason the siblings' records exist in Irminsul could be tied directly to Conria. According to him, Conria was the siblings' first destination when they arrived in this world, a point Nahida herself backs up. He also says it could be tied directly to Conquest. He explains that the reason the siblings' records exist in Irminsul could be tied directly to Conria. According to him, Conria was the siblings' first destination when they arrived in this world, a point Nahida herself backs up. He also says the sibling came here because the heavens responded to the summoning. So here's the simplest explanation I can think of. Yes, the twin spaceship did land in Nod-krai, but because of Conria's summoning, the sibling was pulled straight from the ship and into Conria itself. That would explain why, in the Moon Marrow's vision of the true past, both cryo chambers still appear sealed. Because the sibling wasn't woken up in the normal way, they were teleported out. And that's just one of many possibilities. Honestly, this topic alone is so big, it deserves its own dedicated video. I wanted to break it down here, but there's way too much to cover in one sitting. So for now, I think this lore bomb needs some time to marinate. For now, Columbina believes our spaceship has been intentionally hidden. She even says cryptically, perhaps someone has certain truths they wish to hide from us or from others. The only other person we know who's been to the crash site is Rayrir, but at this point the ship could be in anyone's hands. Speaking of the Moon Marrow and its ability to reveal the true past, there's a theory of mine that I've been holding on to for a while now, and honestly I selfishly want it to be true. For the longest time, I didn't have enough evidence to back it up, but I think the Moon Marrow might finally give me the piece I've been missing. I've been theorizing that the Irminsul tree itself is made from the moons. One of the first clues that pushed me toward this idea comes from the Boatman world quest on Surumi Island. The Boatman's job is to guide souls back to the ley lines, which he calls the moon mansion that golden burns. The ley lines, of course, are the roots of the Irminsul tree. And think about how we interact with them. Every time we claim materials or artifacts from domains, we use resin, and every form of resin is shaped like a moon. The Irminsul is a database of Teyvat, holding all the world's memories and history. And now we have the Moon Marrow, the body of a moon goddess, the relic that also allows us to peer into the true past. That parallel feels too strong to ignore. There's another idea that's been on my mind and has to do with something called the Golden Moon. When the traveler absorbs the Moon Marrow during the quest, they suddenly sense the true frost moon beyond the false sky, and it isn't silver like we'd expect, it's gold. That detail immediately stood out to me because gold connects back to the traveler in so many ways. The same golden power they used against the Raiden Shogun in Inazuma, and the same color often tied to anything celestial in nature. In alchemy, gold represents incorruptible perfection. Silver, on the other hand, is seen as a lesser stage, imperfect, often tied to illusion or incompleteness. It's not the first time this idea has come up either. In Natlan's Dreamy Paititi world quest, there's a line about a golden moon, a silver moon, and a false moon. I'm not completely sure what it means yet, but it's just something to keep in mind. By the way, have you noticed how rain falls in nod-krai? It doesn't just drop straight down, it floats back up into the sky. That instantly reminded me of the upside-down water in the chasm during the Requiem of the Echoing Depths Archon quest, where hilichurls would gather to let the water ease the pain of their curse. universe. It makes me wonder if the water was actually lunar water. The moon's power has always been used to hold back the abyss. The Lightkeepers use it in battle, and Lauma's silver blood can heal those suffering from Kuvaki sensitivity. So it makes sense that lunar energy acts as a shield or temporary remedy against abyssal corruption. By that same logic, it makes me wonder if the celestial nails might also be forged from the bodies of the moons. But this also brings me to Daenzof's ring. It's the one thing keeping him from rotting away, unlike Capitano, who suffers from the same curse of immortality. This is just a crazy thought, but what if Daenzof's ring is forged from Luna's soulstone or some other piece of the moon's? Luna's soulstone is so rare we've only seen it in the statues of the new moon built by the Frost Moon Scions. The Fatui apparently really want it. Also, every time I say land of nod-krai, I'm always reminded of the land of Nod. In the Bible, the land of Nod was the location where Cain was banished for murdering his brother Abel. Cain was then cursed by God to be a restless wanderer. Exile and wandering definitely fits thematically for nod-krai. If the biblical land of Nod really is one of the inspirations behind nod-krai's lore, then it makes you wonder, who's supposed to be Cain and who's Abel? Unless this is something the world quests eventually answer. I still have to finish them. But what's really been stuck in my head lately is this brand new book collection Genshin just dropped. It's called Hymns of the Far North, and honestly, I think Genshin may have played their hand too early with this one. Because if I'm right, this book might have already spoiled the Saritsa story and her real reason for wanting every Archon's gnosis. It could also explain why she's described as a god with no love left for her people. In the hymns, there's a passage, Prayer Song 16, that tells the story of a man named Saralainen. He was in love with a beautiful woman, the daughter of Pakaisuko. Keep in mind, Pakaisuko translates to Father Frost, which could very well be another name for the Belitsar, the first Cryo-Archon. But Saralainen never got his happy ending. He never got to marry the love of his life. Instead, he was struck down by the heavenly principles. His body was carved into 7 pieces. If I'm reading the hymn right, it's suggesting that the Saritsa was actually in love with the 3rd descender. The text strongly implies that Saralainen was actually the 3rd descender. His body, split into 7 parts, became the Archon's gnosis. But Saralainen may not have been his only name. There are clues suggesting he went by another one. Ajax.
Okay. And she's gonna stop there. Very cool. Sure, no explanation. Cool. Okay, no more theory. I have so many questions. Does she have a new video? Or is that the latest one? Okay. When is she gonna release a new one? She can't just cliffhangers like this. Come on. Oh my god, that video was 1 hour, chat. Jesus fucking Christ. And I watched all of it. Rewinding many times and I still get nothing. Oh well, I got a little bit of something. I think Colombina is likely something that's called the Welkin Moon. I think that's the end of my comprehension right there. Because it's Song of Welkin Moon. And Colombina is kind of the center of the story. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna give my brain just a quick break real quick, and I'm gonna go to the crashing side of the Traveler. Have we been here, Chad? I mean, we definitely have walked here before, but did the quest actually lead us here at any point? Yeah, this is the place. I don't think the quest has led us here at any point.
I bet the crops back in the orchard are loving this weather. Guess the Saurians won't have
No, I don't think I've been here. You've been there before the quest, alright. Okay. No, I have not been here personally because there is still a lunar coolers that I have not collected. Okay, hold on. Mark some of these stuff down. Shrine. Open.
So shiny.
And there should be a Lunculus somewhere. Oh, right there.
Faster, stronger. Rev the engines.
Okay, let's get back in there. Where is it? Here. There's also another Lunculus down here, I believe. I don't think the quest has taken us here. It's just a kind of Easter egg that if we notice the location, we can try to find ourselves. Can I fly up, please? I cannot? Okay, that's fine.
Hip. Hup. Full throttle.
To be honest, I am up to just...
Full throttle.
I am up to just see what Hoyoverse is gonna continue to reveal in the future without trying to think too much about that. I'm just staying along for the ride, deal. Where the traveler's ship photo came from, just an imaginary picture. It's an imaginary picture. It came from the moment that Colomina helped us peer into the moon marrow. So it's kind of an imagery in our head, I guess. Oh, look at that. 20 more %. Wait, what? I have to complete a world quest? Excuse me, I thought that's the Archon quest. Okay, I guess the Archon quest is tied to this, and this is the world quest. Fair enough. Oh, fair enough, okay. Guess I should be working on the world quest next to get more tidbits of lore. Or they show it on the quest. They showed it in the quest. They showed it in the quest. This imagery, the entire thing of here. I can show it to you. They showed it in the quest. This entire thing. And then with the location of the crashing site, they also showed it in the quest. Inconsistency, sure. What if I try to understand what really happened when Traveler first arrived in Tibet. Traveler also mentioned that they and the sibling were inside a single spaceship. However, in the opening cutscenes, the Traveler clearly draws two shining stars. We also see the two flying over Mondstadt and Liyue. So did the dad forget that they arrived in two different spaceships in Tibet? Now I'd like to note that the Venti statue is already here. Does it matter? I don't think it... I should ignore me. I don't think that matters. Venti is still there 500 years ago. It's the Venti being the wind spirit taking the boy's form, I think that happened way before the cataclysm. Two different spaceships in Teyvat, assuming that they didn't. The only explanation for this inconsistency.
This is how the brain of a procrastinator functions compared to a high achiever.
Is that the opening cutscene does not show the siblings arriving in Teyvat. When did Venti become the Archon? But them leaving it instead. So these two stars represent the siblings trying to leave Teyvat. But that's not spaceship. Okay, sure. After which they are stopped by Asmodee, which matches the complete sketch the traveler draws. You can see two stars in top left corner with Asmodee. And perhaps the same can be said for the two stars in the Travel trailer. So we never actually saw how the siblings arrived in Teyvat before. Look at the landscape around the time when the spaceship crashed. You can see that there's no Nasha town in the background. I see. Ah. This place has a structure which doesn't not exist in the game. There, I guess. However, those are all the differences. You can see the bridge with a metal box underneath it which exists today. Interesting. As well as this ship which apparently didn't move an inch for century. Right. As a ship, sure. So as a ship, the angle and height of this shot is such that it puts these nearby ships out of the scene. I can't think of any explanation. It seems like the devs forgot to change all this. I think the devs just, yeah, probably. Hello, Pribujam. Spaceship design is clear that it's not from Teyvat. Doesn't match any design motifs we know so far with the Teyvat civilizations. Yeah, that looks like something that could come out straight out from the Arcane universe, the TV show. Color scheme of gold and white blue is a bit similar to Fontaine's, but that's all. You can see some scratch on it, but overall it looks like it can easily fly out as well. The sharp point parts and edge are barely damaged despite crashing onto a planet. So whatever material is made of is extremely resilient. The sibling had to manually wake the traveler from the spacecraft. As you know, the home world of siblings were destroyed. Wait, I don't! Tell me more! After which they set out on their journey to different worlds together. Does this mean Teyvat was not the intended destination? Which is why spaceship don't automatically wake the traveler up after crash landing. Oh, so they're not really controlling the spaceship. They are hibernating inside. Okay, I get that now. I thought they're just sleeping whenever they want to and controlling the ship most of the time, but it seems they are hibernating until they reach destination. Had the sibling never shown up, how would the traveler have slept trapped in Teyvat forever? Would stay in the same place for at least a few years, decades, or even centuries? Given the sibling lived in Canria for enough time to call it their second home. Now let's try to answer the biggest question. How did the sibling show up outside the spaceship after crash landing? Sibling was first to awaken with no memory of the traveler. They live in Canria where they slowly recover their memories of the traveler. The king of Canria appointed them as princess of his nation. 500 years ago, the king being a ritual to turn sibling into an abyssal vessel, with the goal to make the sibling absorb unlimited abyssal energy. This is what triggered the cataclysm and why Heavenly Principle destroyed Canria. Sure. Did you miss something? Some lore stuff. Why should Traveler end up being in the Mondstadt when they landed in nod-krai? The Traveler has been traveling. They did not wake up in Mondstadt. This will trigger has the cataclysm and why Heavenly Principles destroy Canria. All this was revealed in the Wing of Fate's course intertwined version 5.2. I also made a theory based on this time which discussed okay. This is how the timeline looks so far. They two arrive in Teyvat. Sibling somehow ends up in Canria. Traveler is still sleeping in spaceship. Sibling wakes up during Cataclysm 500 years ago. We fight Asmodee. Sibling returns to Teyvat. Travels with Dane. Starts the Abyss Order. Traveler wakes up 500 years later. To answer why they ended up in Canria, it was because they were summoned.
Records about your brother in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was his first destination when he arrived in this world. Plus, he only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The summoning ritual itself could have erased their memories as well, and could explain why the spaceship crashed in Teyvat. It was forced to land here by Canria. Now let's try to explain how the sibling may have lost their memories and brought into Canria. Canria is said to be located in such a unique position that things from outside the world are constantly falling into it. So if that's the case, then what's the thing when we started Heavenly Principle separating the travelers? Is it a false memory? It's part of this. The two arrive in Teyvat. Sibling somehow ends up in Canria. Traveler is still sleeping in spaceship. Sibling wakes up during Cataclysm 500 years ago. We fight Asmodee. That's when the game starts. Sibling returns to the Teyvat, travels with Dane, starts the Abyss Order. Traveler goes to sleep again, wakes up 500 years later. Man just really loves sleeping. Gotta take my nap time, chat. Constantly falling into it. This also includes people from other worlds entering this nation. During the time of the Crimson Moon Dynasty, this kingdom had an orphanage for such children from other worlds. The special thing about this orphanage was that the children here all had a first memory. For Perrin Harry, it was his memory of crawling through a dark corridor until he saw the crimson moon in the sky turn around to reveal itself as an eye. The adult in the orphanage would ask the child if he was dead after seeing it. Ever since we arrived in nod-krai, the three moons seem to have ties with memories in this world. More specifically, they either host pure memories that are separate from Irminsul, or they can unhide memories hidden by Irminsul. Either way, we saw how Columbinal could use the moon mirror to show our past. As Nibelung originally created the three moons for his task itself, however, Heavenly Principle later arrived and created ley lines to store memories. And what we recently learned about Iridescent Moon, the music is quite loud. Hold on. The Crimson Moon in Canria could also be involved in the nation's memories in some way. Alikino is also very heavily tied to the existence of Crimson Moon. Perhaps the Eclipse Dynasty has already perfected memory manipulation when they pulled the sibling into Teyvat. That both Alikino and Columbinal, who are connected to the moon, just happened to glitch.
Under certain special circumstances, flames can be extracted from my person and preserved. Once ingested, searing pain will spread across every inch of your body. No harm will come to you physically, but your memories will be burned away. In other words, Administering this concoction will kill the version of you that grew up in the house and give you a new identity.
It is where the sibling was killed on arrival and they lost their memories. Fair enough. Why would Kandria need to erase an outlander's memories? Because they need to use the sibling as the vessel for Abyss? For their own gain, I guess? Was it to easily control and influence them? Or did their future plans needed the outlander to be part of the Ermin soul? Okay, that's another reasoning, I guess. As such, without their memories, the outlander would never have the will to become a descender. However, none of this answers how the sibling arrived in Kandria.
According to the records I was able to access,
Appeared.
their sibling suddenly appeared in Kandria.
You gotta go, Slippy? Alright. Thanks for hanging out. And have a nice rest. Could someone teleported them and into Kandria perhaps sometimes after the crash?
Black, no sugar. Want a dessert? No, thanks. I want to lose 20 kilos to look.
Maybe once the spaceship and the Tevat is lost also affected the siblings, so someone had power over these could have helped Kandria. We know that Dane's older brother, Vedofur, one of the 5 sinners, had given a prophecy when sibling was in Kandria. Seeing that they had some power at the same time, one of the sinner could have teleported the sibling. Another detail you may have missed in the Archon quest is that Rhea walked into the cave. More specifically, it is this cave he walked into. The same one our spaceship crashed. Perhaps Rhea is the one who really knows about our spaceship's whereabouts, the truth behind our siblings' complicated existence. Genshin Impact's story began with our journey to find our missing sibling, and we're at the point of discovering the secret behind our arrival in this world. Zombie chicken. Okay, sure. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. I don't think the people who watch this video would need Genshin to be promoted to them. Cool video. Okay, I think that's enough lore for one day. Let me check if I have finished maintaining all my account. And then we can end the stream. 2 pools, why not? No black sugar? Black no sugar? Black no sugar. Indeed. Wait, why do I still have so much resin? Oh, crap. I'll spend a bit more resin. I need to spend exactly 60 more resin. Okay. Alright, let's get some chill music back on. Two pools, why not? Very cool. Very cool. I'm getting quite a bit of Primo Gem these past 2 days, probably just from doing the quest. I actually have no idea what to farm now. My farm weapons are already at the level that I desire. Type. Let's go with this. Weapons by type? What do you mean?
Try and stop me! You asked for it! On my mark! Rev the engine! Pyroclastic surge! Headbutt! Hero incoming!
You also by rarity? It's quality, right? It's not a weapon tier list.
Full throttle! Final warning! Justice won't control breathing! Light of the blazing sun!
Hold on. I need to perfect this.
Rev the engines! Pyroclastic surge! Full throttle!
I lost the rhythm of that again. Oh well. Crit damage attack. You want Lunar Freeze? That'll be cool.
Rev the engines!
Do the burn. Now, most people do not have it by level. If you have it by level, you randomly have a 5-star weapon in the middle like this. I think the default is actually by quality. That's always the default, I believe.
Incinerate! 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 Incinerate!
You're getting the hang of this. The timing of releasing the charge attack can change depend on how long, how many charge attack I want to do. That's not it. Release immediately.
Incinerate! 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 Incinerate!
Hold on. What if I try to skip the finisher altogether? Come on. Okay.
Why me?
Oof. That is a hard technique to master. But alright, I think that's gonna conclude the stream, chat. We did the thing that we wanted to do most today, which is looking at some lore videos. And I probably got my mind blown by that. I need a lot of time to process things. I think rather I'm just gonna let Hoyoverse surprise me with their storytelling rather than try to keep up too hard. Get away, Kukuso. Thank you. Alright, chat. I appreciate you as always. Thanks for hanging out. It has been fun, and have a nice rest of your day. I will be streaming tomorrow at a similar time. So, I'm looking forward to a Monday stream with you all. If you've been enjoying the stream, should to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitch. Check out my other content. If you want to further support the stream, Super Chat and YouTube membership are the way. Until then, chat, have some nice music. Thanks for hanging out. See you, chat.